We knew I couldn't just do part 3 and be done. We knew I'd forget things. We all knew this was inevitable. I hope you're all enjoying my ongoing 200-part series about my spiral into hell. You know, here's a problem with making YouTube videos about a thing that releases one new thing every, 5 years. I started writing Gaster Part 3, pretty much when the game came out. I was taking notes of things I thought were Gastery after I played each chapter. I started in earnest on the script after I finally learned how to get the eggs. Then it took me a few days to record my game footage, and then it took me a month to edit because I'm slow. The problem there is that by the time my video comes out, so much more shit will be discovered that I just wasn't even aware existed when I finalized the initial script. I was just going off my own initial observations and the things that were found early on, and then, I get told I forget a bunch of things because I didn't know about that when I wrote it. Now, the responsible thing to do is wait a while people find things in the game and continue taking notes, but I don't work very fast, and I was afraid if I waited too long, Deltarune's post-chapter release surge in popularity would wane and my video would get little attention. The internet moves too fast, everything is chewed up and spit back out within a week, so I don't know if as many people are gonna watch a part 4 of this goddamn thing, but I have to make it if I want my documentation of this stupid character to be complete. So I think how these are going to work is a chapter will come out, I make a video on my initial observations, and then I make another video with all the things that were discovered that I missed because I was busy editing that video. It's like how Smash Ultimate immediately started development right after the Smash Wii U DLC was finished. That's how this is gonna work, but worse. So, let's go over all the stuff I didn't get to or know about in part 3. The shadows cutting deep. I can't believe I missed this initially. I only saw the hymn once and just skipped the sermon every subsequent time I played, or I didn't pay attention because I was playing it for someone, or I was playing it to record it, and I just took a break there. Okay, so the shadows cutting deeper is a line from entry 17. Once more, we have dialogue that more or less directly quotes the one person we can absolutely be sure is Dr. Gaster. Like I said in part 1, Gaster is god of the Deltaverse. Now, Deltarune's religion is interesting. It seems to directly correlate with the Dark World and the prophecy and the things going on in it, so I guess Chris is at least sure now that their religion is objectively true. Must be comforting. I'm not 100% sure what to speculate on with this direct quoting of Dr. Gaster. This could mean a lot of things. It's possible that Gaster and this hymn are talking about the same thing. In the religion, it's more symbolic, while Gaster is speaking literally. Biblical literalism, my favorite. It could also mean very little and was just put here to hint at Gaster's presence. After all, him and him are pronounced the same. This is a more information needed thing, but it's jotted down. It's in the notes and underlined. Don't worry. Okay, people said I forgot to talk about the dialogue possibly Gaster has if you lose to the night. Okay, yes, I didn't read it out loud, but I showed it several times in the video, even making a jokey edit getting overexcited about him saying very interesting. Look, I know it's easier to just listen to videos while doing something else, but at least watch it visually once. Yeah, I guess I should have read it out, though. Let's do it. Very interesting. Your loss here is all but guaranteed, and yet you persist. If you are so determined to try once more, then shall we hasten? And if you lose again, and so you meet with the same fate, shall you try once more? And if you don't have the shadow mantle, very interesting. You are missing something important. You won't win like this. Still, will you persist? And if you almost win, but not quite. Incredible. I felt it there, shining. Your power, a little further. Aside from very interesting, which is no very, very interesting, this doesn't really give us any hints towards Gaster. The whole situation, I suppose, is interesting in itself, which is why I speculated Gaster and the Knight are perhaps at odds with each other, but my personal questline is more to prove that Gaster is for sure the mystery voice, and not so much to speculate on his relationship with the Knight, or painstakingly read out every single bit of his dialogue. I don't know what Gaster is doing. Theorizing about that should be a very small part of what I'm doing, and I need to just start getting this shit in editing. Another thing I was told I forgot was the Mystery Voice's comments if you didn't get any achievements in the PlayStation version. Interesting. You failed to achieve any marks. What are you? I very much look forward to the next. That's it. Nothing really here that provides any evidence of anything, but I kept being told I forgot about it, so there you go. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy that Gaster talks like a poet that just took an upper, and for good measure I'll read his ending dialogue so our documentation is complete. Well done. The halfway mark has been attained, but it is still waiting. How much longer now, my Deltarune? Something I also found out is that Mystery Voice seemingly considers the eggs an issue. This is possibly evidence that Eggman is not the Mystery Voice and therefore not Gaster. I kind of was thinking that he probably was an Eggman after Eggman spoke to us in Chapter 3, and this is possibly further evidence of that. The Forgotten Man's dialogue isn't the most Gastery, as he talks like a poet that just took a downer, and he strikes me as more of a metaphorical thing than something literal and straightforward. Something about him calling himself the Forgotten Man and spouting off a lot of weird sentences that don't make total sense screams, "This is symbolic to me." Not to say that the Forgotten Man isn't literally a character, he seems to physically exist, just more so that his role is symbolic for something. He may simply exist as his own little thing, an almost literal Easter egg that helps to play into the game's larger theme of isolation, abandonment, and the fear of being forgotten. If it is the case that Gaster and Eggman are definitely not the same person, I'm not sure if I should even keep documenting Eggman in these. I will have to see what Chapter 5 gives us before making that decision. Some were confused that I didn't address Friend, the mysterious entity that kind of looks like Endogeny, properly. Look, I personally need to learn just to make peace with the fact that people will misunderstand me, and this is the nature of being anyone who makes anything online, but I need to make something about these stupid videos clear. I am not here to catalog every weird or mysterious thing in Deltarune and humor every last vague unprovable theory. I am here to track Gaster and the beings that might possibly be him and his possible significance to the story. Sometimes that'll just go off on a giant ADHD tangent, like I probably went way too into the night in Part 3 when they're almost certainly not Gaster. It was irrelevant, and this is a me problem I need to sort out in editing. Look, Friend is definitely up to something. Their pink and yellow eyes probably tell us something about Spamton. Maybe he's the thing that drove the Short Kings insane, God knows. This is just one of those things, though, that will only ever be wild, aimless guessing until we get more about them revealed to us by the actual narrative, because we know functionally nothing about this thing right now. I don't know if they have anything to do with Gaster. Why do they look like Endogeny? Why are they here? I don't know. If it gets any more Gastery in future chapters, I'll let you know. Speaking of being unable to make peace with being misunderstood because I'm bad at explaining myself, I want to make something clear. When I said I was losing faith in Gaster, I didn't mean that I literally thought he was going to end up doing nothing. I was saying that basically I think that the story is just going to be bigger than him, that the narrative's purpose is not to lead us to Gaster. Just before Chapter 1 came out and we got him talking to us on Twitter, that's how it felt. It felt like this was going to be a game revealing Gaster to us. And that's a feeling I held on to for a while, but now, after 4 chapters of deep emotional baggage, it's clear he's not the most important thing going on. This is not a game purely about lore. Thank Christ, I'm sick of those things. However, he will be with us here, always, holding our hand and his possibly stigmatized hand, leading us quietly through the dark to solve a bunch of sad teenagers' problems. Sads, the night has escaped. Recruit a team of teenagers who are sad and lonely. Another interesting little thing is that I believe Gaster and Des, no matter who or where she is, have some sort of connection as well, because it's possible that both can only exist in the files and code of the game, and occasionally desperately try to connect to the actual part of the game the player sees, with Gaster being more successful in that regard because he's probably been around longer. As you know, Gaster in Undertale only exists in its files and in Entry 17, also known as room_Gaster. Dialogue you have to manually manipulate the files to get. I believe December Holiday is also in the code in a similar way. In Chapter 1, there is a string of code called unused. Where am I? Hello? Anyone? Is anyone out there? Someone! Anyone! Can anyone hear me? It's dark. It's so dark here. Someone, anyone, if you can hear me. Say something, please. Now, maybe I'm grasping, but I think this is Des. I don't know how, but I think something similar to what happened to Gaster happened to Des. And now the only way we can learn about her is from hidden code. It's gotta do with that shelter. I know it! This place is a death trap and a portal between dimensions. So I speculate that a similar fate befell Des, or she's at least in a similar situation. Rather than shattering across space and time, she's stuck. Stuck in the void. That's right, the idea of the void, the fandom idea that was so prevalent people mistook it for canon, might actually be canon now. Now, of course, we don't know that this is Des, but I mean, I have a pretty good hunch. Let's add it to the I'm crazy wall. If the knight is Des, I imagine she's trapped, like, inside the knight, unaware of what they're doing, but she is unknowingly their beating heart, their soul. They are manifesting her most bitter thoughts and desires, desperate to free her. And it'll be like the end of the second Ava rebuild movie where Shinji has to claw his way into the Ava that Rei is trapped in and forcibly pull her out, setting off the apocalypse, where the three heroes stand at the end of the world to banish the angels' heaven. The piece of the prophecy Gaster told us long ago on the Deltarune website, or something. In the B rank room, if you put in 1,225 points, you go into the machine and find a secret maze with no boundaries. There is a single little machine in there that spits out a dark triangle that falls through Chris's hand. You couldn't find it. You couldn't find your hand. I assume this is a metaphor for no one being able to find Des, but the hand part, well, you know, Gaster is the man who speaks in hands. I'm sure there is a million other little tiny things that one could interpret as pointing to Gaster, but I think I need to take this series back to where it was in my painfully slow-paced first video on the subject, and provide the facts of what we are presented with, and then maybe a little speculation and theory where appropriate, should I be able to devise a joke I like around them. I got way too into theory starting in part 2, and realer too into theory in part 3, and just going into every weird little thing regardless of whether or not it was directly connected to Gaster. And that's just not where my strengths lie. I'm here to document him, to follow him. I am a follower of Gaster. Right now, at this point in time, I think Gaster is the mystery voice. Gaster told Jevil the stuff that made him go legally insane and tried to help Spamton but dicked him around and is now coming to us looking for his vague Deltarune, which he refuses to elaborate on. You know, I completely believe Gaster would have the ability to easily drive Jevil and Spamton to madness because he's really good at doing that to me! Now, to address the responses to my call for extra Jevil material, many informed me that we did in fact get more Jevil in these chapters. See, Jevil has a fun little thing in Chapter 3, where if you give his item to Susie, which you won't because better weapons and armor have come along, Susie has a move called Joker's Bet that bets 30 points instead of 20, and then it plays his lad. Whoop-de-doo! Well, see, if you pacify Jevil, he says he's going to sleep for a century. Well, wake his ass up! Also, you can't trust anything he says. He's a magical imp that speaks exclusively in riddles. You gotta make up with your only friend one of these days, Jevil. You gotta come out of Chris's pocket sometime! That's hopefully all for now until Chapter 5. Whether 11 hours or 11 years, I will be waiting for Dr. Gaster. Please don't be 11 years. I don't want to be doing this when I'm 42. Please. No.